What's going on, everyone? Welcome, Rabid here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to install HiveOn firmware onto the Antminer L7. And what is this going to do? It's going to make it either hash a lot more, or you can make it run a lot more efficient than the stock firmware. Now, if you are looking for an Antminer L7, I thank Coin Mining Central for sending this thing out to me to try multiple tests on. So be sure to use my link down in the description to Coin Mining Central, whether it's Antminer L7s, Bitcoin miners, Kaspa miners, any type of ASIC miner out there, Coin Mining Central has you hooked up. So what you are going to need in order to do this is pretty simple. All you need is an SD card, something like this one right here, and make sure it is formatted to FAT32. I will show you how to do everything on this in just a moment. Then once you get it done, you're simply going to put it into your SD card slot right here, reboot your miner, and you should be good to go. Now, if you remember back to the L3 Plus, when you actually flashed HiveOn onto that, I don't know if it's fixed yet, but you actually have to then flash with the SD card, do a manual flash again to revert back to stock or any other firmware as well. It seems like you don't need to do that anymore, at least with the L7s. Again, I don't know if the L3 Pluses were fixed, but once you pull that SD card out, it will go right back to the stock Bitmain firmware. So that is a huge improvement over what we previously had to do a few years back with the L3 Plus. All right, so the first thing you are going to need to install this is an SD card formatted to FAT32. Once you have that, you're going to put that into your computer and then come over to the HiveOn.com ASIC firmware list here. Here you can see high performance ASIC firmware, and then select your miner model. Obviously, everything's nice and big here for you. Choose your firmware, so make sure you choose the proper ASIC here. This is going to be for the Antminer L7, and you can actually do some quick tests here. If you go to 11 cents per kilowatt hour, which is what I'm at, number of miners, you can see different settings that are in there by default and potential power consumption. So I do have the 9 gigahash version. If you saw my video, I was actually using about 3,500 watts, which is what you should use at 9.5. But here for the 9 gigahash, it says I'll be down to 3,100, saving about $12.67 per month. So that's pretty sweet here. It'll have all the calculations. We can go as low as 6 gigahash for 1960 watts, 1,960, or as high as 11 gigahash at 4,860 watts. That is insane, but if you have cheap power, it might be worth it. I wonder how hot this thing will run, but that's crazy that you could possibly push this thing to 11 gigahash. Should I try? I don't know if I'm going to try that. Maybe I will. We'll find out, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Regardless, right now we're going to shoot for 9 and see if we are around that 3,100 watt range. So now once you pick your miner and everything, you're simply going to go to SD card content. So we're going to click that, and then we're going to download this. Going to put this in my downloads here and save that as the latest. Yes, it already exists. I'm going to overwrite it. Let it do its thing. Once it finally downloads, wait for it to finish. It looks like it is. We're going to open that up. So click on that. Open it up here. And now we got to extract this. So you're going to extract all of this right into the drive that you have ready, your FAT32 USB drive here. So I'm going to put that in here. Select folder. I don't have a folder. We're just going to select that and then extract it. It's going to do its thing. And then we'll just wait for this to finish. And it's done. So once it is done, just confirm that it's actually in your proper drive. So I'm just going to click here. Yes, it looks like everything extracted into my SD card. All right, so once you did confirm that that did extract to where you want it, you're going to want to go into your HiveOS and pick the farm that you want. I have individual ones here. Here's my GPU, CPU farm. I'm going to go into rabidmining ASIC farm. And here we can see currently we got the KS0 lined up here. So we want to go into our settings and find our farm hash. So I'm just going to scroll down. Here's my farm hash. I'm going to copy that to clipboard. We're going to open up where we did extract that right here, and we can see farm hash. So we're going to right click that, and we're going to open with Notepad. Okay. And then we're simply going to put our farm hash. Paste your farm hash in there, save it, and done. So what that's going to do is when it actually loads in the Antminer L7, it's going to go directly into your farm by default because it's running that farm hash there. So once you're done that, you're simply going to close that out, go back into your HiveOS here, whatever you want to do, and then you just remove your USB drive, and we're going to take that SD card out of our USB drive and put it inside of the L7. Now, if you end up going and trying it and it doesn't look like your ASIC is booting up, or you have the red light on for longer than about 10 minutes, you may have to try this other method. And this one would work just fine as well. And the other one will work depending on, I guess your system or something. But there have been known errors with the unzip format, so you can just try Etcher right from the get-go. So coming into here, all you got to do is go flash from file, select the entire zip archive here, open that. Select your target, which would be wherever you do have your SD card. Make sure you are on the proper drive. If you accidentally flash your C drive or something, you're going to wipe out your entire system here and your operating system. That'd be a bad day. So select the proper drive here, select there, and then simply flash. Once you're done flashing, the same stuff will be within here, and you just got to put in your farm hash just like I showed you earlier, and everything should work. So that is another method by using Etcher that you can use as well to get into this and flash your drive for HiveOn ASIC firmware. Now, before I actually boot this into the Antminer L7, I just want you guys to have a quick look at the dashboard of the L7. As you can see, it's our normal Antminer dashboard. I think it's still going to look similar to this when we first install that firmware. It'll just say HiveOn or something down in here somewhere. Then we got a little more tweaking to do. But right now, I just want to go over this. I want to shut this thing down. So I'm going to go into settings here, and then I'm just going to put this into sleep mode for now and then save that. That way, it just pretty much drops everything down to nothing, and then I can slowly unplug it. Or I could just remove my mining address, miner name and everything, wipe it out, and then it won't use any power that way as well. Either way works, but remember, you don't want to just go out there and unplug your L7, your big ASIC there in the middle of mining, because you're going to possibly short out almost a 3,500 watt miner there, and that could be a bad day. Okay, so I do have this unplugged now. I'm simply going to take my SD card and put it in the slot. I can't really see too well going over my arm here, so I'm kind of guessing by feel. All right, I think we nailed it. Push that in. So there we go. It is pushed in. Now all I'm going to do is plug it back in, and that's all we got to do as long as I did this right. All right, so it is plugged back in. We're going to jump back into the workstation. I see some lights over there, so it's reading something, and see if we have anything beginning to detect. Okay, so now if we go back into the dashboard, we can see we have HiveOn in the top left corner, and we have another thing called HiveOn OS. So if we click on that, even though I did add it, so maybe you didn't have to earlier, it's asking to add our farm hash again. So I'm going to come back into here and go into my settings here and just find my farm hash, and then copy that to clipboard and paste that back in there. So we're just going to do that. Apply. Now, you don't have to do the API server. It'll use the default one if you are doing something special and you want a different server used, and then you can just swap it around there. But I don't think you need to do anything for most of you guys out there like myself. So what is this? So without using the worker ID and password. So yeah, so it's executing right now. So I'm just going to wait a little bit and see what happens once we have that farm hash in. Okay, so it said successfully applied, so that's a good thing. To start mining, you only have to apply a flight sheet. So now it looks like we can just run this thing exactly how we would if we come in and, okay, look, our ASIC is there. So I'm just going to hit the refresh. So the ASIC is there. I don't know what's going on with my ASIC hub here. The KS0 keeps going down. It's actually still mining, but it's popping in and out of the dashboard. I'll fix that and do a video and stuff on that some other time. But right now we have the L7 we can see here. We do want to rename this. So I'm going to click on this, go settings here, and I'm just going to go L7. So it's going to go L7 there, update worker. So it should adjust that name. Close that out. So we're going to open that back up. Yes, warning, all this good stuff. Let's go back into our ASIC farm. So now it is called the L7. So that's option. Now what we got to do is, I guess, set up a flight sheet and hit the go button. We should be ready to roll on top of some tuning things. So before I set up the flight sheet, let's just show you where I am here. Let's go into the L7 right here. In the L7 here, we're going to go to overclocking, and this is where all those default profiles are. So default is whatever your stock miner is. So we're going to scroll down to that 9 gigahash at 3,100 watts. I'm going to apply that, hit apply changes. So now we should be running at 9 gigahash and a decent amount more efficient in theory, hopefully. So now we're going to set up a flight sheet. We go into overview here, back to the Rabid ASIC farm. Now click on flight sheets, just like a GPU, CPU, anything else. And we're going to set this up. So we're going to go down to Litecoin, pick our wallet. I'm going to use my ledger, select our pool. Do they have Litecoin pool in here? I'll Yeah, Litecoin pool is here, so that's awesome. We are USA West. Click on that, apply, and then select miner, ASIC miner. So we are going to have to set up a few commands in here in the config with usernames and passwords, just like you normally would within the ASIC. But I want to name this, I guess, LTC Ledger. I'll go LTC pool. And now we're going to go to setup miner config here. It's got all that, your stratum URL. So wallet and worker template. So here we're going to go wallet and worker, pool URL. How come oh, wait a minute, it's way up here. So that's our fallback. So never mind. We have everything already set up right here. This is if you want, pool 2 for a backup, and any type of extra configs. But we do got to adjust some stuff here. So we got that URL. We do have to put in our actual, it's a password based type of operation. So I'm going to set that up so that you guys don't actually see my username and password. So what I actually did was you have to remove the wallet worker template because it is account based thing. So we have to put rabidmining.l7 and then your worker password. So this wasn't actually any of my account stuff. So it's fine if you see this right here. So this should be good. So we're just going to apply changes now, create that flight sheet. We're going to come up here, go back to our workers, select our L7, and now we're going to send that flight sheet to the moon, and hopefully our Antminer L7 will now begin mining on this new tweaked version. So it is saying the cache profile is not fully tuned, engaging auto tune. I'm not sure how long that's going to take. I did read it could take about 2 hours, but I'm not 100% sure. So we'll kind of just see what happens here. But right now we should begin mining any minute. It is now looking like we are up and mining. We got our fans ramped up and everything here. We got some temperatures happening on our hash boards. We got hash rate at 9.7 gigahash. So everything's looking pretty good. Now I guess let's go to the wall, see how much power this is actually using. So I'm not down to 3,100, but I am definitely below 3,500 where we were before. So we are seeing some gains in efficiency here. Remember, it also might have to tune for a while, so I might see differences, if I check this tomorrow or something. So I will update that sometime later on. We'll see what happens, but we are seeing a little bit of efficiency boost here. All right, guys, so that is how you install the HiveOn ASIC firmware onto the Antminer L7. You can now remote control this from your phone or on the go, from work, wherever. You can now set flight sheets and move this to various pools and so on. So that's awesome. And I will keep an update on this. I will try some different settings, check out some numbers, and keep you updated with some hash rates in a few days from now, because we're going to test out and see how this thing works. So thank you for checking out this video, guys. And if you are looking for an Antminer L7, Kaspa ASICs, anything, Coin Mining Central has you hooked up. Code rabidmining down in the description will grant 100 euros off your order. I will see you on the next one. Rabid out.